Hello, I'm Houston McGaw. I'm director of the Star of the Republic Museum out here at Washington on the Brazos. The museum is part of Blinn College, and this weekend we're opening a new exhibit entitled Enduring Spirit, African Americans in 19th Century Texas. And that's a large topic, and so we've kind of narrowed it down a little bit to really talk about, well, when did African Americans first come to Texas? We talk about slavery a little bit, and then what happened after the slaves were free. In preparing for this exhibit, one of the most difficult things that we have is African Americans in early Texas really didn't have many possessions. So we can find documents that have to do with slave records or runaway slaves or slave auctions, but finding the actual possessions that they had is very difficult. We were able to locate and borrow some items from an excavation at an early Texas plantation, so we have a few of those items on display. There's always also an interesting story about Hiram Wilson. He was a slave. He was brought to Texas in the Seguin area, and he and some other slaves were taught how to be potters. Well, after the Civil War, they decided to go into business for themselves. And Wilson pottery today is very rare and very collectible, and we were able to borrow some of those pieces that we have on display. And we also have an African-American made quilt, a very unique pattern from our collections that we have on display. And we also get into some of the laws that were changing because it was almost like a moving target. Well, here's the law this year, and next year there's another law. And so it's a very difficult subject, and we've tried to condense it down to where people can kind of understand the early stages, the mid stages, and then after the Civil War. And we cut off about 1870. It opens Sunday, February the 1st, and on that Sunday the museum will be free admission. And then the following Saturday we have a speaker from Austin Community College that's going to come in and speak at 2 o'clock that afternoon. We also have a program the following Saturday. We're going to show the first 2 episodes of a PBS series on African Americans. And then the 3rd Saturday in February we have Dr. Bernadette Peters coming from Sam Houston State University to talk about African Americans a little bit later in Texas.